Greetings to you all lovers of freedom all over the world. I come in peace in the name of Chokika Biama, and I say it shall be well with you. Quickly join me as we address or respond to a salient issue that is very much topical as raised by certain individuals who want to, be politically correct and who wants to be seen as good statesmen in the Nigerian state and who happens to be Biafrans and have an impression of also, understanding what we are doing, but because they feel they want to be politically correct, they still, do the wrong thing. It's all right. It is no other than this particular YouTube television outfit that we all know has been, popular amongst us lately. So let us see, first of all, what is it they have, they are talking about. Then we respond accordingly. Let's join.
Let's look at this particular situation. Now, the release of Namadi Sambo is a clamor all over. I'm sure on this platform, a lot of people listening to us will say we're always talking about it, but it's a recurring development. It's a story that is in continuum, so we'll always talk about it. Now, the fact is this: with this referendum, this e-voting that has taken place, does it guarantee Namadi Sambo's freedom anytime soon?
Esther, the e-referendum is contentious. Contentious to the fact that, to the extent that I don't know when it was conducted.
Okay.
The fact that I don't.
It was an e-voting.
It was e-voting.
Yes,
the fact that I don't know when it was conducted.
Okay.
Also, doesn't take away the fact that it could have happened.
All right.
And here we have Simon Ekpa saying that about 50 million people voted in that referendum. I think the beauty of what Ekpa has done is to highlight the fact that Nigeria needs to accept and assent to the fact that, look, we should have a referendum in our constitution. It's a democratic tool that is used all over the world, to make decisions based on people's votes. Just like you have a plebiscite. Unfortunately, we have a Nigerian government that thinks that when you mention the issue of referendum, the first thing that comes to their mind is that Southeasterners want to exit Nigeria. And that is wrong. Esther, that is a very wrong perception.
Okay.
You can use a referendum for a whole lot of issues. In some countries, if you want to do a constitutional amendment, you put it to vote. People vote in a referendum. In Ireland, they had to conduct a referendum. They had to make a legislation in favor of same-sex marriage.
Okay.
In Pakistan, in 2002, Musharraf, the president, a military leader, conducted a referendum and used it to legitimize his stay in power, his transition from a military ruler to a civilian ruler. So I get somehow this struggle with the fact that the moment you talk about referendum, the Nigerian government, they think is all about is all about the Igbo people. That is not what referendum is all about. If we have to do a constitutional amendment, some cases you put it out in a vote. Should we actually, a particular topic, should we discuss this at the National Assembly? Because the people believe that they have representatives, but their representatives don't do enough on particular issue areas. So it is the best thing to do is to throw it to the public in a referendum, in a plebiscite. In 2006, a referendum was conducted in Sudan, and the people of South Sudan voted overwhelmingly to exit.
And that was how we got
South Sudan
out of Sudan.
After a series of wars, after years of carnage, people killing themselves. It's happened in Eritrea, between Eritrea and Ethiopia. They exited on their own. Referendum is not bad. And when the referendum was conducted in Scotland in 2014, majority of the Scots voted, look, we want still to be part of the United Kingdom.
Okay.
After 300 years of union, it was put to vote, and the Scottish people decided, look, we still want to be part of the United Kingdom. Esther, since 2014 that the referendum was conducted, nobody has ever come up to say the Scots want to exit from the UK. I'm of the opinion that if you conduct a referendum here, there is a likelihood, operational likelihood, that a lot of people in the Southeast, if not majority, will assent to the fact that we want to remain part of Nigeria, because the Igbo man has expressly demonstrated his drive for unity.
That's your own perception. That's your own opinion.
I'm talking about
a couple of Southeasterners or Igbos may actually disagree with you. Those say that
Esther,
there is a referendum that would go for it.
Esther, how do we get an accurate opinion? Conduct a referendum.
That's what he said. He said over 50.
Who conducted? Look, Esther. Let's be very factual about this. You know, to the extent that we want a referendum conducted, it should follow due process.
Exactly.
You know, you cannot. It's like being a judge in your own case.
All right.
Who conducted the referendum? That is the question. Okay. And I'm saying, let us make it formal. The Nigerian government, either ECOWAS or UN, can get involved. If we don't trust that INEC will conduct a free and fair referendum, let's get involved. The EU, the United Nations, ECOWAS, you know, even AU, to come in and conduct a referendum that will be free and fair. It is at that point that we will decide whether the people of the South still want to be part of this union or they want to exit. That is the issue. What Simon Ekpa has done, like I said, it is negotiating, and the referendum that is put out in the open is a tradable.
All right, we've heard you, sir. You have tried where you did, and you have failed equally where you did. The case here is that you accepted that the Igbo people and the Biafran people have been so abused and so flagrantly marginalized by the Nigerian state. In the other part of the discussion, where I did not capture and intentionally don't want to capture, where you discussed or talked about the conspiracy theory against the Igbos, like what is currently boiling within the last 2 days, where a certain Amaka, who is said to be an Igbo, you know, responded to certain inflammatory and malicious comments of hate that has come in thousands, where the president himself, Tinubu, made certain comments, his wife made certain comments on 2 different occasions, 2019, 2022, in where the current vice president Shetima made that same comment, not even a worse one, joining now the Oba of Lagos, who said they will push us to Lagoon and finish us up, that some of us will now decide to go to our Igbo land, and then they will totally end us there. And different such, like a what you call him, Bayo Ananoga, and whatever you call him, and so many other people like Wike, like Asaredo Kubo, like the late Oyo governor during the 2023 concluded selection, and a lot more people, and then the other young guys from Edo and the other places, and those guys that even started now and again within the last 1 month, before prior the End Bad Government protest, who started calling for the Igbos to end and all of that. And you all heard them, you are bringing them to fore also. Thank God. But the problem is that you are of the opposing view that since it is not the federal government of Nigeria that conducted the referendum, to an extent you now said, yes, even though you might not be, you are not aware of the referendum, which that you say that other people are talking about this referendum, how they have voted, which comes to tell you that there are many other people like you who don't know about referendum, probably will never know about the referendum even till you buy and whatever. When you acknowledge that a lot of other people are talking about it, thank God. That is why it is a test of popularity. It is a test of opinion of how many people are involved. And now you talk about the figure, 50 million, and you are not sure if it's up to 250. That means there are people who you know now. Many people are already talking about it, having voted. There are physical one, people queued in line, which there are video evidences where people in the land, in the African land, queued and voted, and those who are in diaspora and those who don't want to take the risk of standing anything in election now have to do that online, home and abroad. Now, and the referendum has been carried out. Your point of disagreement is that it is conducted by a non-state actor, 1. 2, that it is not conducted by the Nigerian state, and it is not observed by EU, it's not observed by AU, it's not observed by UN, and all of that. Is that not it? Is that correct? Good. And I want to ask you, what was the purpose for the UN coming with the doctrine of a referendum being conducted by the government, by a functional government? That is, there are different aspects of an ordinary plebiscite and the referendum for secession, then whichever way that it is supposed to be conducted by the government that is existing. Now, I want to now ask you, because I know you are a very learned person from the way you sounded, because of trying to be politically correct and the obvious act of cowardice that so many people like you are always taking certain position, that has been the reason the Igbo race have continued to suffer till today in the Nigerian state. Because of your cowardice, the likes of you, it did not start from you. Now, your question of whether the Biafran people have the right to conduct the referendum on their own is what now led me to bring you to the reason why the UN had to bring the policy or the ideology of referendum being, or like in our case now, to be conducted by Nigerian states and to be monitored by the EU observers. So that now you acknowledge a salient fact here by yourself. You see, when you people try to be this politically correct, you end up indicting yourself by proving that you are politically wrong. You now try to finger something that is very known to everybody, that if it is to be conducted by Nigerian state, it is INEC that should conduct the referendum. And even beyond the one that you just made here now, the unreliability of INEC, the 2023 concluded selection, you yourself faltered it at all levels, you yourself in particular, just like many other Nigerians faltered it. Then the turnout of the election by itself, just like others, a country where you are having a population that is supposed to be within 300 million plus, and at the end of the day, a region will not have up to even 20 million voters. And you want to look at what standard that is operable in Europe. Good. Now we are here together. We know about Guinea, who gave, thank God you also give the Sudanese government giving room for referendum. We also want to go to that Europe. Even UK gave room for referendum for people to, if you want to, march out of the union. The EU themselves that you want to call to observe already acknowledge that it is a practicable thing. It is a civilized practice for a government to give room for this. The same you pointed out the case of Sudan. I am also bringing to your knowledge the issue of the Greenland and the forest in Denmark. The Danish people now in 2009 now made it very clear and easy for any of their parts, being the Greenland, the Falls, who want to march out of the union, that it should be a smooth thing. Then here you come in a government that did not only demonstrate that they don't want to be civilized, but they went as far as making it open. Tinubu in the June 12th, this about 2 months ago, when they had the June 12th fake democracy day, said that the unity of Nigeria is not negotiable. But beyond Tinubu, you have always heard that from Nigeria government. Buhari made it very point blank that if you talk about the disintegration of Nigeria, that you are from that moment seen by the Nigerian security authorities or outfits as a terrorist, and you must be treated as such. Then tell me, how do you now want to now talk about it spiritually? When you talk about Nigerian government conducting and the EU and all the nonsense you're talking, now observing it, then are you going to do that in the spirit world? They are very clear that they tell you that the state you are talking about is like 1,000 years behind the modern state system. They are so barbaric, they are so uncivilized, and yet they want to tell you about the democracy. They want to tell you about. Tinubu told you on the 12th June day that they want to hand over a good democratic system to the generations unborn. Is Tinubu supposed to be in government today? You are in a country that everything is so shrouded with confusion, everything is in opaque, nothing is in any measure transparent. This is a country you are expecting to conduct referendum, a country that doesn't even know the system of government they practice. They don't even know the economic system they adopt. They don't know if it is a socialist state, if it is a communist state, they don't know if it's a capitalist state. It's funny, a country, even it is so made manifest that the leaders of the country also, everything about them is so shrouded in the darkness. You had a president whom everybody now know that he had to rule you with NEPA bill as certificate. If you say it's a witty allegation, what happened when he was pushed to wall to bring this his certificate that he said he presented? He now said that it was burnt by the military, and the military said they don't know about what Buhari was talking about. Here again, you have another man who said he wants to continue with the legacy of the same Buhari, and this is the same situation. You don't know his place of birth, you don't know his origin, you don't know his locality in Nigeria, you don't know who were his friends, you don't know the school where he said he attended, you don't know who was his classmates, you don't know if he has any certificate at all. And they will sponsor the courts in America had to do, Chicago had to try to unveil these things, and everything now was pumped to be covered with money. Everything, nothing is clear at all. Are you a democratic country? I am asking you. Is your state a democratic state? You now have admitted that what you are practicing is not even working. So what is your problem? What is your problem? Which country now do you want now to approve the referendum, since you don't want the one that is approved by their people themselves? And I want to ask you, when you people talk, when you want to demonstrate knowledge and wisdom, you end up showing the world that you are. So it is just like one animal that was calling in one program. I'm also going to bring his case here. You are telling the world that this state doesn't even obey, that the INEC you are even expecting to conduct, you yourself are questioning their credibility. Then how do you want an organization with such bad personality, an unreliable body like that, stand to be the one to, you want to entrust such responsibility? Okay, we were even saying they should even do it. We have always called for them to do it. We had now to do it ourselves because we see they don't want to. They are so afraid. You now have to make a very serious blunder here. But thank God that the interviewer, thank God that the presenter here had to put your chain. Who told you that the Igbo people don't want to exit? That of course it is the majority opinion of the Igbo people which should make the Nigerian government so afraid to accept it. Because you are confused if you are practicing democracy. There are certain important issues that when they are raised, you also now accepted that that serious issues of concern like this, that the people sometimes don't trust on the credibility of their representatives, that is the reason we do have referendum and plebiscite. You said it here. So why do you confuse your own self? It is one thing for people to be confused by others, people to be deceived by others, but it is a very serious crime against humanity when a man by himself opts to deceive himself. You are talking about referendum. You are talking about the state actor because you want to refer to the legal maxim which states that you cannot be a judge in your own case, Nemo Judas and Kashishwa. But your own brother is held by Nigerian state because he has a case with the Nigerian state, and the Nigerian own court is adjudicating on his matter, and the same Nigerian court is afraid of even giving him a free or a leeway to even defend himself. They implanted chips and cameras in his. They don't want the barristers to, even with that condition, the barristers are even proceeding. But they keep adjourning the case from today to indefinite until today. So it is good. If it has to do with, it is the same case now you refer to. You were accusing the lady who, when she was a journalist, she was hiding what she was made of, and now she is appointed. Now she is showing her real character of her hatred and spite against the Igbo race. Now you are the one now pointing out these things. How come now that you don't know that this is the same thing that is applying? You cannot be a judge in your own case. Hey. So when it has to do with the other people, they can be a judge in their own case. When it has to do with your own people, they don't deserve to be a judge in their own case because you want to be politically correct. Oga, come on, make sure no say, I have respect for my elders, but when they go as far as misbehaving to the detriment of a mass population of people, this is over 70 million people that you joke, you play gamble with their fate, with their destiny. Oh, if they do the referendum, you don't even think if Igbo people really want that, but it should be done. Onyala. So you want the same inconsistent, the same terrible INEC to be the one now to conduct referendum for you. I want to ask you, what happened to the census count that you have held all through Nigeria, and why is there no more census in Nigeria? Is your policy for census not 10-year interval? So when last did you conduct census? Then why not, if not? Because there was fear. There was serious fear. Goodluck Jonathan had to, reveal things that was kept in the dark for a long time. Obasanjo, as a coward and as a coward Yoruba he was, and acted cowardly as expected. When he had the opportunity to reverse the criminal the census, the manipulated census count that contributed to the robbing of the southern Nigerians, it was his time to correct it. Today, as a coward he was, and he is still, he refused to do that. Releasing or opening up of the Kaduna refinery, Obasanjo knew of it, and he advised Jonathan that there was something like, he took Jonathan, ordinary bloody civilian, to do that. And when it was time to stand for Jonathan, Jonathan wasn't, obeying all his criminal intentions. He now had to tell the North, you see, Jonathan, he was the one that opened the refinery, the hoarded oil. The hoarded oil, it was Jonathan, he used it against Jonathan. And the North and every other people had to vote against Jonathan. Conspiracy. You say, sometimes you begin to wonder if there are really some conspiracy theory. You people are now sensing if there are conspiracy theory. You don't know if there is conspiracy theory. When you even speak grammar, I don't know. You speak English that should even be simple. It looks as if it's so elusive and it's so difficult to demystify. Whether there is conspiracy, what do you mean by conspiracy theory? That a particular race is hated so much, you have heard where the Oba of they said they will push the Igbos to Lagoon. You heard the Shetima, the current vice president, say they will push the Igbos to Lagoon. They will finish them up. You pointed at different people who have made certain and certain comments, and you are still asking. Sometimes you are even wondering if there are conspiracy theory against the Igbos. Then what is conspiracy? What they are saying is that not conspiracy already? That they are going to push you. It is a plan. That is why we need to go away from this Nigerian state. We need to have a state where education should be worth it. It should be worthwhile. Because the kind of education you guys have, I put them in doubt. You contradict yourself a lot. Oh, now the referendum has been conducted. Who is going to enforce it? You're asking that question as a man who I suppose has a political science background. You're asking who is going to enforce it. Oh, and why should it be conducted by itself? All these things you are studying in political science, is that not what practice that other people brought into limelight and it is today studied? When the Norways and the Denmarks had their own in the 14th, was it not studied? Is it not studied today? Or was it 17th? We are studying about it today. People bring in, when America had to break with their own approach, who went to observe it for them? But let me not go that backward. Let me tell you, you brought about 2014. Let me tell you about 2014. 2014 was the case of beyond the one you mentioned. Let me not mention the one you mentioned. Let me think of another place. Do you know the place they call Ukraine? You know, good. And you know the place they call Crimea? Good. And the Crimea is like the Igbos in Nigeria to what it is to the Ukrainians. And Crimeans say they want to opt out of Ukraine Union. Did Ukraine accept their move? No. Did Eritrea you mentioned accept, did Ethiopia accept that of Eritrea? No. Did it result to gun running? Yes. Have you heard that sometimes freedom is taken, not given? Yes. And have you also heard that freedom doesn't come so easy? Yes. And have you heard that freedom comes with so much sacrifice? Yes. Then what is your point? Who conducted the referendum for Ukraine, for Crimeans? Was it not self-conducted referendum? Did UN approve it? Did they not decide what they wanted? And is it not prevailing till today? Then why is it too difficult for you to understand that it is not a crime after all, that the people can conduct the referendum and have their security, their safety, and do well? After Ethiopia refused to accept a referendum that was conducted since 1990 till 1993, did they not succeed in breaking away? When the going get tough, the tough will continue getting going. When the grass get affected, then there will be reason for a round table. Take it home. The bull must be taken by the horn. Everybody must not be a coward like you. Everybody must not be idiotic like you. Because it is a proof of idiocy that you are looking at what ordinarily you should know, but because you are a coward, you don't want to confront your fears. You understand that this is not working for your people, that this is not healthy for your people. But because you don't want to be singled as a bad person, we have lost a lot of opportunities. But getting the right thing first. A lot of you all along, if you, the Igbo people, have played along fully as expected, we won't be here today. They will tell you, oh, support what we are doing, support what we are doing. You say, oh, my business. That business, what are you doing? A Fulani Janjaweed will come and make a policy that will affect that your business anytime he likes. Even the ones you have done and the ones you have invested, somebody will come and say, I don't like your face. Before you know it, I say, this building, it is not in order urban plan. Bulldozer, put your bulldozer, demolish, and it is done. You go and start back in square one. Some of you now end up dragging, taking Ogu or Tapiapia. Because you don't know where to start again. But when they were telling you, no, support what we are doing, it is in our collective interest. No, because you want to be politically correct. Who monitored the Crimean's referendum? So why don't you open your brain to see? Even if it has never been done, you have to do it. America did what was strange. They did it today. America is great. They did it. They didn't wait for any global body to do any stupid thing, or for UK, Britain to monitor whatever nonsense for them. So why is your own always coming with what is the problem with you guys? When it comes to you, due process, and the way you even condemn the Amaka, it is barbaric, it is good. But if you cannot equally condemn the one that the other, you are even afraid to even mention the other one, the one as if you did not even see them, the one that America was responding or reacting to, you did not even mention those ones at all. But you were quick to point a lady from another tribe who was a journalist trying to finger her, paint her black, whereas you are the real enemy. You are painting her black. You are the real enemy. You are afraid to mention the case as they are, and you want somebody from another tribe to do that for you. You guys are very disgraceful. You are. Let us continue to listen to them, please.
He's a tradable. He has brought something to the table.
Okay.
And he said he's going to conduct a convention, and even invited our own Minister of External Affairs
to be part of it.
All these things are tradables. And I relate it to what Yasser Arafat did, from transiting the PLA as an authority to an organization that gets represented in the United Nations with observer status. So let us do things.
The thing is, the reason why I'm talking about this, or rather why this is here, is because there needs to be a proper understanding of what is at play. A couple of people just naturally go negative or aggressive when they just hear about this kind of thing without having a proper concept of what it is. Some people do not understand what self-referendum is, or the pattern through which it was conducted according to the self-imposed Prime Minister. Nobody knows how the process goes, but he declared that this is how a lot of Southeasterners, Igbos especially, are interested in this, and they actually want to be extracted. They want to find their own nation. So that is basically why we wanted to have a proper context of this conversation.
Exactly.
But then here is the thing: where a situation where this kind of thing is called for, there are factors which he reeled out. He talked about certain issues which have bedeviled a lot of individuals, specifically from the region, from the southeastern region. He said marginalization was one of them, underdevelopment, insecurity, attack against Christians, poverty in the southeast and south region as justification for self-referendum. Don't you think this should be an eye-opener for the federal government? If you go to the southeast, for example, there are a lot of underdeveloped areas, especially for how long that particular region has existed. questions have been thrown to the southeastern leaders as the governors they've had so far. Why have they not really put a lot of investment or created investment opportunities in that region? Why is that region neglected? Why is that region, you don't have a lot of people residing there just because of the underdevelopment, no proper access to healthcare, education, even the roads? So what would you say to the fact that what he cited as a reason for this is basically what's transpiring there?
Esther, the reason for the referendum that we demand for, it's not hidden. It's a road we have traveled several times.
Okay.
It is very clear that the southeast has been marginalized by the central government, and some of us even think that there's a conspiracy theory behind it. To oppress the people, to let them remain where they are. But that is the issue in contention now, is that Simon Ekpa conducted a referendum. And Esther, let me ask you, now that he conducted a referendum and people are shouting, oh, referendum has been conducted and 50 million people voted in favor, who is going to enforce it? That is the big question. Who is going to enforce it? So for us to have a referendum that will be enforced, the Nigerian government has to be involved. Probably ECOWAS, AU, UN or EU can get involved and legitimize the process.
Is this why this convention is being conducted, where
the convention is also still being organized by a non-state actor. Who is going to attend? Will the EU be represented? Will the UN be represented? Will ECOWAS be? Will the Nigerian government be represented? Despite the fact that he has extended an IV to our minister. So while we are looking at all these things, let us contextualize it within the ambit of legality and legitimacy. So that it will become not only broad-based but acceptable to the people. And if you talk about governors and underdevelopment in the southeast, there are two layers to it. The southeast people feel that clearly they have been marginalized by the central government of Nigeria. In terms, symbolically, if you look about state creation, the southeast is the only region that has 5 states, while others have 6, with northwest even having 7 states. That is an issue. Now, in terms of appointment, the people feel shut out of the space.
I already told you, I think yesterday we spoke, yesterday or 2 days ago, where I told you that in the recent appointment in terms of security for the Southeast, only one person is being designated.
Not only the security. I also made reference to a recent appointment that was made by the president in the humanitarian ministry. There were 7 directorates that got directors.
Yes.
Incidentally, we have 6 geopolitical zones. It would have been proper to spread it from each zone, one person, one director from each zone, one director. But do you know what we got? We got 5 directors from the southwest, where the president comes from. One from the north central and none from the northeast. Northwest got 1, didn't get any. South didn't get any. Southeast didn't get any. So these are the things that spike and fuel, the agitation for self-determination. That is on the part of the federal government. We can talk about it unending, interminably.
Okay, my sister Esther, thank you very much. Mr. Kechuku, Zichukuma, we have heard you, but sorry, stop making the excuse for us. Don't make the excuse for us. Thank you, Esther, once again. Thank you for telling him. How do you know? Majority of the Igbos want the otherwise against what you are suggesting. We don't want the Nigerian state again. And the Nigerian state knows about it. And Nigerian state, because of it, is saying there is no chance for the referendum. Chikina. They don't want to allow you to go. So you have to wait till forever, since they are not going to conduct the referendum. But who is going to do that with you? It will be you and your household who will wait forever. Okay? Good. Now, Oga, we are not telling you to be economical on our behalf. Whenever they make the bring issue of referendum, they think it is about the Igbos want to go. Yes, the Igbos want to go. So they are thinking, what they are thinking is right. They are not thinking, they know that we want to go. But here you are telling us, telling the world before the camera that majority of Igbos maybe wouldn't want to, but it is better they conduct the referendum so that, good. But they don't want to conduct the referendum, then what next? You ask the question, since they have conducted a referendum now, who is going to enforce it? Did we ever seek your opinion, beg you, ask you for resources, ask you for link, contact of how to enforce it? When we tell the Fulani who occupy our forest, maiming and tying our innocent brothers, sisters, mothers, our people in their farmland, when they are maiming them, when they are doing all this, they are raping our own sisters, and you know that is against humanity, did you ever come out to use the camera to cry to the world that you don't support it and the Igbo people condemn it? The Igbo people don't support it. But you want to tell the world that the Igbo people might not, the majority of Igbo people want one Nigeria. But you never come to tell the world that the majority of Igbo people frown at the fact that people will come from distant land and come to maim us in our own land, intimidate, humiliate us, which the same you cannot replicate in their own region. Everybody cannot be coward. Okay, you know they understand them. Everybody cannot be coward. We know what we want. The people you are trying to patronize, they told you, they know that our referendum is to opt out of the union. Yes, but that is what makes them a barbaric state. It is what proves the barbarism we talk about them. Because in the modern state, why the UN expects to have the state you are opting out from to be the one to conduct the referendum, if even the UN observers faulted what elections you have been conducting. American observers faulted, EU observers faulted as fraud. So, what are you talking about? Who are you defending here? The same people who conduct this fraud now is the one you want to conduct our election. The referendum for us. You can see you don't have a case. You don't know what to just say. It's a big challenge. It's a big challenge that people who are supposed to be scholars, they end up embarrassing. Who are supposed to be educated end up insulting and humiliating themselves, thinking they want to humiliate the entire race. Are you making an excuse for us? Did we send you? Did we ever ask for your assistance? Did we ever ask for your opinion? I don't know why it is so. I don't know why it is so. You are here talking about a state that don't want to be democratic. A state that don't want to be democratic. Otherwise, why would they be afraid? Why would they be afraid to allow referendum to hold? Why? If majority of people don't want it, then why don't they want? Lest I forget, before I talk about this other guy who came to Simon Ekpa, our PM, gave run, who said he is a researcher. Before I go there, this our brother Ugochukwu or Ugochukwu Kochukwuma, I don't know exactly the one, but one of them. You went as far as making reference to distant cases where referendum have held before. Did we tell you that we are looking for places where referendum is everywhere in Europe? But you don't need to go that far. In Nigeria here, how did the Northern Cameroonians come to join you? 1959. 1959, what happened? What made them to join you when you had NCNC, the Nigerian National Council of Nigeria and Cameroon? What happened? Was it not referendum that gave 60 to 40% for and against vote? Was it not through the 50 to 40%, 60 to 40% vote that produced the result of the Cameroonians becoming part of Nigeria? What else? You are going far to talk about that same. Because of the barbarism, it did not have effect that same year. It had to take like 2 more years. 1961, it was implemented. Oga, just better be guided, because your children might be watching this thing tomorrow. Now you see what was wrong with our papa, but the man don't become junkie, because there are some things you don't defend. If there are some people you can't defend, if you defend them, you ruin your own personality. You don't have integrity again. It's like somebody, when there was a case, it was laughable, but I think it has come and gone. Somebody was saying, you cannot defend Buhari. An attempt to defend Buhari is a suicide mission. It is the same thing with the man who said, I have come to continue with his program, continue with the Buhari's program and agenda. You cannot, there are people you can't defend. So you can't defend them, no going back. So let us watch our brother and his
I, for one, believe in what you're doing somehow, and also believe in Nigeria. But I'm looking at the feasibility of it happening in a country like Nigeria. Obviously, your video, one of your videos about Finland and how they got independence actually stoked my curiosity. And I went online because, of course, I'm a researcher, and I was going through a lot of things, reading about Finland and whatever. And what came to my mind, obviously, is that the peculiarities of Finland is actually different from Nigeria. I'm not saying that history cannot repeat itself, or things cannot be applied and something different can happen. But the truth is, how do you, Mr. Simon Ekpa, how do you plan? Because we have to be honest with ourselves. I know you're doing this out of honesty. I believe so.
Can you just ask your question?
Okay, what I want to ask is, how is it possible that you are going to fight a sovereign nation like Nigeria that has air force, that has one of the strongest military in Africa, because obviously the 5 states of
that is question number one. Hold the line. Let him take that question number one, then you do that other one.
So how are you going to fight this?
First of all, you talk about 5 states. Who gave the 5 states to the Southeast? Were there a referendum to that effect?
There was none, but the Constitution empowers the federal.
Which means it is fraud and fake, and we don't accept it. That's number one.
No, the Constitution.
Now, number
Constitution
two,
empowers.
there is no Constitution. Are you not hearing that even your people are complaining about the 1999 Constitution as a fraud? The Constitution says we, the people. Were you there? Were your people present when the Constitution was written? It says we. That was a fraud. Are you not aware of that? Did you agree to that? Your people, even when you are not born, if you are not born then, which I believe you are born in 1999, were your people part of the people that voted for the Constitution that says we, the people of Nigeria, in 1999? Just answer me, because that will address this matter. Answer me.
There was no referendum by the power of the state.
Who are the people who wrote the 1999 Constitution?
The military, of course.
So the military are the people?
Yes, but there was a convention
what is the convention? You see, that is the problem. You say you are a researcher, and here you are telling us how you are researching, and you went to research Finland, and you cannot even answer a question about your own constitution. I ask you, your constitution say we, the people of Nigeria, and I'm asking you now, where did that we happen?
No, there were representatives from the various parts of Nigeria that the military called.
We are the military. Are the military. And we are in democracy. And that military court, you said
no, it was the military regime at the time.
So I'm talking about in 1999. I'm talking about now in democracy, because the military regime brought the constitution, which is the military decree, right? And now Nigeria has been practicing democracy since 1999, and the military decree that handed over to democratic system, they have not changed that particular military decree. And I'm asking you now. You say it is with the constitution of Nigeria, and I'm asking you, the constitution that says we the people, is it under the military regime that we the people took place?
Yes, it was under the military regime.
Thank you.
With the representative of the people.
Who represented you?
Yes, there was a convention before.
So who represented your region?
Yeah, there were some. Can
you answer me a question? Can you answer this question? Who represented your region? You don't know, but you are a researcher. You cannot research your own. You are researching Finland. Now, if you want to know, and of course, this particular thing you have just answered now, we show people who you are. As a researcher, you don't know who represented you. So the constitution is is not important to you. You don't even know who represented you or who represented your region, since it is we, the people. You did not know who represented you. But let me tell you today that nobody represented you. It was imposed by the military on Nigerians.
Okay, our brother, I am sure you must be an obedient fellow. It's okay. And I'm also sure you accepted the way you were cut short and interrupted in good faith. Yes, they were very gentlemanly about that. Because you are coming to a platform of people who believe that their freedom should precede every other thing in life. But you are still a man who believes in Nigeria, and you also partly believe in what he is doing. That is confusion. You are by yourself a confusion personified entity. If not, I don't know why you will carry your two thin legs to come to a platform where people who are believers in the cause of their freedom are discussing. And you come even to state it, and also foolishly stating that you are a researcher. So ignorantly, you are telling them and every other person listening that you are a researcher. You are a researcher. And you did not know that there has never been any way you have a serious freedom with contention that goes without any serious blow, or that goes without a serious blow. Yes. How do you expect a state that is already telling you that you are a terrorist because you asked for your freedom to now allow you to thrive, to exist together and thrive in that place? People that have marked you, they have marked you that you are not allowed to, and you are still forcing yourself there. That is not the thing I want to talk about. I said it's important, I tell you. You are talking about Nigeria being the strongest in Africa, if not one of them. The strongest in Africa. That is in terms of military. They have their air base, the air force, they have their what you call it, the navy, the maritime, and all everything you want to mention. That is to show of superiority of force. So because of this, in view of this, though we need to tell ourselves the truth according to you. So, and the truth that you want us to hear is that Nigeria is the strongest military force in Africa. Is that not foolishness? Because you have looked at their size, their population. So because of their population now, they have become the strongest in Africa. And you are a researcher. Even a little type in your keyboard, you should be able, even if you are a daft, you should be able to see that Egypt is way ahead of Nigeria. Egypt. If not because they interrupted Muammar Gaddafi. A lot of European states cannot compete with Libya. We are now going back to how come you as a researcher don't know that ordinarily that for South Africa being a member of the BRICS states, that South Africa is way militarily stronger than what you are claiming. You are giving to yourself, not because you're large in population, and you are calling yourself a strike. That is my own annoyance. Leave every other talk. Is that you say you are a researcher? That is, you are a typical Nigerian person. Only claims. They call you giant of Africa. You keep on claiming of giant of Africa. Your passport is a shithole. A lot of us are here today now in this country, in this. Because we can't travel. When you go for interviews, okay? Do you know that this guy here who's telling you he's a researcher, even in the Facebook or social media, you don't even go. That you don't know that ordinary Central African Republic is even stronger than you. Not to talk of Burkina Faso, who is having a very good rapport with the Eastern Europe, the Kremlin, the Moscow. So you don't know that South Africa is way stronger than you. You don't know. Okay. You have Namibia come out of. Do you know how much Isimadu only for Namibia to come out of that arrangement? Go and check your history. Go and check your history. For them to come out of that arrangement, it not be here. But was it possible? Yes. With all the kind of intimidation by a South African government. But they still have to go away. What happened to the people you know? Let me not even go there, Ethiopia. Let me not go there. Let us go to Afghanistan, who were not even like a force, a strong force, like a nation that want to come out from the state, like the Igbo race and their brothers, who want to come out like a people with a very large population and economic strength and every other thing. This one is just a group of illiterate terrorists. But they have to succeed with their agenda. With the whole state might and even with the whole presence of American military. And here you are, a researcher. You don't know about it. The other man will just pass his own. You say who is going to enforce it? Go and ask Afghanistan who enforced their will that paralyzed even American military there in their region. See, today they are even boasting and flexing American tanks and war equipment. YouTube, there is a total disclaimer here. We are not talking anything that is terroristic, anything that is violence. We are not disinforming. We are trying to help ourselves here. Please, thank you for understanding. Remain blessed. Whoever you are, your spirit, your human being, your computer, observing for YouTube. Thank you. Now, Mr. Researcher, you made mention of a constitution existing. My PM already addressed you. But I feel I should also add one or two. Constitution. Which constitution are you talking about? Which constitution are you talking about? He already told you. How did the constitution come to be? He posed the question here. He asked you, where did the word "we the people" We, the people, have considered all these things and now adopt this as our working tool to guide our daily life and whatever we do. We, the people. And where did that we, the people, happen? He asked you. But beyond the one he asked you, I want to now give you the opinion of Nigerian superstar politicians and kingmakers, or should I put better, and nationalists, big figures, Nigerian big scholars, big politicians, ruling elite class who have little conscience in them, coming out to tell you that this thing is a problem, this document you call constitution, because it is so fraudulently. Let me pause and now show you to watch. Maybe by the time you are done seeing different opinions, including opinion from President Goodluck Jonathan, XY. So now, watch.
492 delegates have been meeting for the past 11 weeks. Their task, draft a new constitution for the country. They have about 6 more weeks to complete their assignment. An assignment clearly spelled out by President Goodluck Jonathan when he inaugurated the conference back in March.
This conference is open for us to table our thoughts and positions on issues and make recommendations that will advance our togetherness. The issues raised from form of government, structure of government, devolution of powers, revenue sharing, resource control, state and local government creation, boundary adjustment, state police and fiscal federalism, local government elections, to indigenship, gender equality, and children's rights, amongst others.
Yinka Odumaki is one of the delegates at the conference. He says the process would lead to a new dawn for the country.
Given what Nigeria is today, I believe that this conference still remains the only visible platform to save this country from disintegration. And all the signs are around us, and we must make the best use of it.
But the conference is not without its critics. Lawyer Chino Obiago is one of them. He's gone to court to stop the conference from continuing.
The National Conference cannot come up with a resolution that will be binding on the National Assembly without an enabling law. We have a conference where 75% or more than 3/4 of the participants are nominated by government. There's no level of independence. There's no credibility to whatever comes out of that.
For now, the conference continues to hold, but analysts say there are potential roadblocks ahead, and the outcome may suffer similar fate as previous ones.
What really was it that made the report of the other conference, let's quote unquote, not see the light of day? It was not because of lack of quality. It was not because of lack of caliber of participants. It was not because of lack of the fact that that assembly clinically and forensically analyzed the problems of Nigeria. But it is that you can do all the good work. The critical question is, where is the button that we need to press?
President Jonathan has said the outcome of the conference would be submitted to Parliament for final decision. Some of the conference delegates, however, think differently.
Since 1999, the National Assembly have been doing constitutional amendment, constitutional reviews. What have they amended? They've only changed some commas, punctuation marks here and there, but not fundamental, not substantial. This constitution is bad. It cannot be amended. A bad constitution cannot be amended.
What I would do is go after the Nigerian Constitution, the 1999 Constitution, which is a fraudulent document imposed on the Nigerian people by the Nigerian military. That document must be expunged by the will of the Nigerian people and be replaced with a living document.
Well, for more on his perspective, I'm joined now in the studio by Senator Henry Seriaki Dixon, representing Bayelsa West at the National Assembly and who governed Bayelsa State for 8 years. Good to see you again. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you.
So once again, calls are getting louder for a national dialogue to address what many believe is the single most important issue. You certainly believe that, facing Nigeria today, which is root and branch constitutional reform, a people's constitution. Just remind us of what your position is on that.
Well, first of all, I want to agree with the position that has been recently canvassed. Well, I mean, this argument didn't start today. The Patriots have advanced this argument a long time ago, right from when they had the first leadership in persons of F.R.A. Williams, Chief F.R.A. Williams, of blessed memory, and then later Professor Ben Wambuize, and down the line till today. So it's not a recent issue. And as you rightly observed in your introduction, some of us, and I inclusive, are of the view, firstly, that this country needs a people's constitution, a constitution that emanates from the people, a constitution that will lay the groundwork for unity, because you see, the constitutional foundation, the superstructure, is what determines even the economics, structure that will be built on it, the political systems that will be built on it, the legal system, and then dealing with the overriding issue of integration and cohesion in this country. We believe that the existing constitution is not a people's constitution. It didn't emanate from the people.
You know, the 1999 constitution which you operate has been criticized as being a body of lying documents, that the preamble on its own, we the people has told a lot of lies, because there was never a time we the people came to make that constitution. But there was a Constituent Assembly that led to that in 1998. The challenge there is that after the Constituent Assembly has packaged the draft and handed over to the military now set up a small panel to review and release a white paper on that constitution. And I just believed that it is that military panel that went and tinkered with some of those things that would ordinarily have led us to where we want to be. And therefore, that the constitution on its own is a lying document, because we the people didn't come close to making of the laws. And that is why the Patriots have advised that Mr. President set up an assembly of the people. They looked at about 109 people to be selected or to be elected, from all the strata of the society, to draft a people-centric constitution. And what is people-centric? A constitution that will take care of the plurality of Nigeria. Nigeria is a nation, or is a country of diverse nationalities. Over 200 ethnic nationalities speaking over 250 languages and language groups. So that such plurality will help recognizing the diversity of Nigeria in our lawmaking process, will help move the country forward. It's an argument, because some people even criticize the Patriot and saying the problem is not in the constitution, that the problem is in the implementation. But if the problem is in the implementation, for example, is the paper itself to be implemented? Does it give what should move us forward?
We have come to appeal to you to send to the National Assembly the President's executive bill, which would call for two important measures. First, the convening of a National Constituent Assembly with the mandate to produce a draft People's Democratic Constitution. The draft Constitution produced by the Constituent Assembly, as I said, should be put to a national referendum, and if approved, should then be signed by the President as the genuine, legitimate Nigerian People's Constitution.
For a multinational republic such as Nigeria, when a nation or republic cannot keep faith with justice and with the truth, it will never achieve unity, it will never achieve peace, and it will never achieve progress. Mr. President, sir, one of us quoted from this constitution and went ahead to make prescription for how to move forward. I dare to tell this nation today that this is the problem. This constitution can never give us progress. This constitution can never give us peace. This constitution can never give us unity. And unfortunately, most of us in this National Assembly, we don't have the spine to face what we need to give this republic to have peace and progress. What do I mean? This constitution has 68 items, 68 on the exclusive list. This constitution has only 12 on the concurrent list, and those 12 are written so nebulously, so fraudulently, that you know that the intention is to even undermine those concurrent lists. That is why those who want unity and peace in Nigeria must first remember that the name of our republic is not just Nigeria. The formal name of this republic is Federal Republic of Nigeria. Unfortunately, we don't run a federalist system in Nigeria. Otherwise, what is so unique about all those things that are in the exclusive list? We used to have a parliamentary system, and then we wanted unity, we wanted peace, we wanted progress, and we therefore said we are going to go with a presidential system. Honestly, there are many presidential systems in the world that have peace and progress. I can't quarrel with that. But we must put in place the same safeguards that presidential system across the world put in place, so that you can have what it needs to run the society.
Okay, young man, I suppose you heard everything very clearly. It was very clear enough. From this number of these few people who just spoke here, different people so said it is a criminal document. The Senator Yeleye said that this document is so, that this is the problem, that 62% of the content is in the exclusive. And in this exclusive, Fulani is the one who either presides or they appoint a Yoruba brother who will also be under their dictate, and they will preside. So whether or not it is Fulani there in person, it is either Fulani or Yoruba person, which definitely an Igbo man is not involved. And this is the Igbo man who has the ability to turn things around, is not included. So that in the, even the ones that are even in the residual, in the concurrent, that they are so fraudulently imputed. Then Dixon called for a reform. Emeka Anyoko, the former Commonwealth Secretary General, also was there, telling the President of Nigeria that this is something that must be done. And all of them that you saw who touched on this matter, they said one and the same thing. And the one who now said there should be a National Reform Conference like the Anyoko. Now, you might want to agree with him, but you should ask yourself, how many times have the taxpayers' money been expended on the account of arranging or organizing a national confab? How many times? Then this other man, I think with TVC, now ask you that, are you not seeing that this is criminal, in the sense that the document told you, we the people, just like our PM just mentioned, we the people. Say, where did we come to play? Who are the we? Is that not an obvious fraud? An obvious, a perfecto ad clarientia, spot on, poking or analysis. He pointed out, he poked at the issue as they are. The problem you people have is that you want to claim elitism, you want to claim scholar, you just want to claim what you are not. You are a researcher, you don't know any of this. It's a big problem on a palaver. Wahala. Seriously, a whole state is having a constitution in this era that is so imbalanced. Look at it, just look at the screen. Watch your screen now and see. The constitution have been, a lot of people have called to tell the world that this is still colonial constitution that is passed on again and again. That this is still Nigerian constitution, colonial constitution. That is what they kept adopting, and now military adopted it, and it is still military that. Then the PM here asked you, how are you bold to tell the world? You are bold to tell the world before the camera that you have a constitution that is so sided, where that great emphasis is pointed at favoring the North, because it is an adaptation from the colonial masters who found the Fulani Caliphate as people who will be very good tools in their hands. The divide and rule ideology was possible through this. And you are not aware of any of this. Look at it. Just look at it here in the screen. Look at it here on the screen. Look at it here on the screen. You can see that? That's almost nothing changed. The colonial document, which was fraud, was adopted. Basically, you see, even in the colonial era, you see how many constitutions we have. We discard that of what do you call it, friend Lugard, not Lugard, and we are starting from Richard or Clifford. These are what their constitution gave. Confusion. It gave birth to confusion. You have seen it. Now you have seen how many people that have called for a new constitution. Apart from we the people where they lied. What is the military doing with drafting constitution for a civilian regime? Military drafting constitution for a civilian rule. You people are so laughable the way you go about issues of life. You are so laughable. But let it be. Fellow Biafrans, lovers of freedom, I want to believe that all of you have subscribed to this channel. Please do. You will be well loaded here. Please share, drop your comments and like. Thank you. Thank you. Remember our brother's channel. Please go and also subscribe to that channel, because the brother sacrificed and gave us this platform when they banned us. So please let us show him love. From Benway, my brother, my friend, please. Blunt and the factual on YouTube here. Blunt and the factual. Please, let's give him love. You are welcome. God bless you as we continue doing the good work that Chukika Biama has. Thank you.